What is going on, guys? I am at Knoebels today for visit number 8, and this visit looks even sunnier than any visit I've ever had to Knoebels so far this year, in my opinion. And the temperature's nice finally, and as always, I'm excited to be back here at my favorite Pennsylvania amusement park. And I'm ready for a great day. Okay, so I just rode Flying Turns, and I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. It's always good being one of the first riders of the day on Flying Turns because of how long the line can get. And so I just rode Phoenix, and I rate it an 8 out of 10. It was a good second row ride I had on it. And okay, so I just rode Antique Cars, and I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. It was a good ride on them. So I just rode Rocco Plane, and I'd rate it a 9 out of 10. It was another great ride I had on Rocco Plane. And shout out goes to that ride-up who recognized me at Rocco Plane today. And okay, so I just rode Downdraft, and I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. It was a good ride on Downdraft. And so I just rode Twister, and I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. It was really good. And shout out Julia, by the way. And so I just had 2 more rides on Slide Winders and 2 rides on Twin Twisters, and I'd rate Twin Twisters a 5 out of 10. It's that because at the end of the splash pool it was bouncing up and down. It was a little bit rough at the end of the splash pool. It was supposed to be a body slide, but other than that, it was a smooth slide leading up to that point. And Slide Winder is the better slide here at Crystal Pool. I'd give it an 8. I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. They are such good tube slides. They wind around the trees and everything. You can see them from the campgrounds even if you're camping. And so I just had 2 more rides on Slide Winder, and I'd rate them a 9 out of 10. They are very good, and it feels so good to just cool off in Crystal Pool today. And here is a selfie of me just cooling off in Crystal Pool. And like I said before, I highly recommend Crystal Pool on hot summer days at Knoebels. It will cool you off right away. Okay, so I just got a couple more rides in on Slide Winder, and I'd rate them both an 8 out of 10. Slide Winder is an underrated tube slide at Knoebels, like I said. And okay, so I just rode Cosmotron, and I'd rate it a 9 out of 10. It was really good. And okay, so I just rode Haunted Mansion, and I'd rate it a 9 out of 10. It is a good dark ride, and it might be one of the best ghost trains I've been on, actually. And okay, so I just rode Paratrooper, and I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. It was really good. And so I just had 2 rides on Italian Trapeze and 1 on Satellite, and I'd rate them both, and I'd rate them all an 8 out of 10. They were very good. And okay, so I just rode Phoenix Skyway, and I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. It was a really good ride on it. And so I just rode Impulse, and I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. It was a good ride on Impulse. And so I just rode Pioneer Train and got a re-ride on Stratosphere and Twister, and I'd rate all those a 9 out of 10. They were all very good. Shout out Barry to Twister. And okay, so I just got a re-ride on Downdraft, and I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. It's always a blast on Downdraft, my favorite flat at Knoebels. And so I just got a re-ride on Rocco Plane, and I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. It was good. Shout out Liam at Rocco Plane. And okay, so I just re-rode Phoenix and rode Giant Flume, and I'd rated both of them an 8 out of 10. Shout out William at Giant Flume. And okay, so I just rode Black Diamond, and I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. It was really good. And on top of that, I finally tried the Roaring Creek Ripple Ice Cream from Old Mill, a popular new flavor that just debuted at Old Mill last year. And I'd been meaning to try it all season last year, but never ended up doing it until this year. And oh my god, the Roaring Creek Ripple ice cream is so good, and I would highly recommend it. Okay, so I just rode Paratrooper and got a ride in on Teacups, and I'd rate both of those an 8 out of 10. They were both very good. And okay, so I just rode Downdraft, and I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. It was a really good ride on Downdraft. And okay, so I just rode Stratosphere, and I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. Stratosphere is an especially good ride at sunset tonight, where the views are like spectacular of the lighting packages on Phoenix and Twister, depending on or Twister, I meant to say Phoenix or Twister, depending on where you sit on Stratosphere. But anyways, it gives a great view of the park in general before you go through that gut-wrenching drop. And okay, so I just rode Twister. Shout out Julia once again, and I'd rate that an 8 out of 10. It was really good. Okay, so I just rode Scooters, and I'd rate it a 9 out of 10. It was a really good ride on Scooters. And okay, so I just got a night ride on Twister, and I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. It was a great front seat night ride on Twister. Like, Twister runs best, like, in the hours that the park is about to close. Like, oh my God. And so this was an awesome visit to Knoebels. It was great getting him back in Crystal Pool. In fact, I might start getting in more visits to Crystal Pool on my summer visits to Knoebels, to be honest. And another highlight of this day was when I hit 500 subs here on Coaster Plus Music 19. Thank you guys so much, and I could not have done this without you guys. And there is no better place for me to find this out than at my favorite park in PA, Knoebels. And so that made it especially really awesome. On top of that, I was able to get on everything I wanted to. I was able to get on Haunted Mansion more, and I was able to get back on Haunted Mansion on this visit is what I'm saying. And the Giant Wheels sliding package looks absolutely beautiful behind me. And and as always, I ended it with a front seat night ride on Twister right before it closed. And so with that being said, that concludes this vlog from July 2nd, 2025 at Knoebels for visit number 8 of this year. Make sure to reply to me your thoughts on this video, and make sure to stay tuned for more coming soon to Coaster Plus Music 19, especially from here at my favorite Pennsylvania amusement park. And make sure to go check out my merch store on Bonfire. I'll have a link in the description. I sell t-shirts like this that say, I don't need a psychologist, I just need to go for a drive to Knoebels. So if you want it, the link will be in the description. And make sure to subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you will not miss when I upload a new video. And I will see you in the next.